At the time that I found out I was pregnant, I was at the worst time in my entire life. When I found out I was pregnant, I informed Nevaeh's biological father that I was pregnant. He instantly denied that he was the father, and that's one of the reasons that I was not going to keep the pregnancy, because I didn't have the support of her dad. My relationship with God at the time that I found out I was pregnant was next to nothing. I was still angry with him for taking my mom 5 years before. I was still angry with him for putting me through the seemed to be a constant a life of tragedy after tragedy after tragedy since I was 10 years old. So I was angry, very angry with God, and so there was no praying at night. There was no going to church. There was really hardly any faith left. I found out I was pregnant when I was about 8 weeks, and I made an appointment at the abortion clinic in Methuen. When I walked into the clinic, they just do ultrasound in Methuen unless you want to pay with cash. So they told me they would refer me to Boston after they do an ultrasound in Methuen to get the abortion. I walked in, and the woman doing the ultrasound told me, "Oh, it's no problem. You're only 8 weeks. It's very early, and it's really nothing." I left there thinking I was going in 2 days to get an abortion in Boston. I called my boyfriend at the time and told him that I was going to get an abortion, and he agreed to take me. And that morning, for whatever reason, he decided not to show up. There was something tearing at me constantly about the decision I had made to get an abortion. I walked into a pharmacy and I was looking at makeup, and the name of the eyeshadow was "It's a Girl." Right there I thought, this is God speaking to me. So I thought, I know what you're telling me, and I'm about to go destroy this life. That's what actually got me to call the Pregnancy Care Center, the eyeshadow. The first phone call I made to the Pregnancy Care Center, when I first dialed, I had intended on, I was still undecided, but I was, leaning towards the abortion. When I called, Nancy answered the phone, and by the end of the conversation, I felt so supported, and I thought, if they're the only support I have, maybe that's enough. Maybe there is hope for me to continue with the pregnancy and keep this baby. Before the phone call, there wasn't much hope. My first visit with the Pregnancy Care Center was life-changing, actually. It was as if I was sent there. God was telling me something. He sent me a message like, "This, you're supposed to be here with these people, and they're going to help you." And when I left that day, I knew 100% I was keeping my baby, and I actually felt good about it. I felt good, and I felt supported, and even loved. It's weird, but I felt the love come from Nancy and from Kathy, and it was a complete turnaround in my life. They taught me how to put my crisis in God's hands, because before that I didn't know how to do that. It was just their words and their support that made me realize you really can put your problems with God, and He really does take care of them. When Nevaeh was born, I realized what I could have done. And I'm so glad that I had the Pregnancy Care Center to show me that there was light at the end of the tunnel. I could do this. This is a blessing. It's not a problem. Every time she looks at me, I see my mom in her eyes, and I know that she came from heaven, and that's why I named her Nevaeh. I recently had Nevaeh baptized when she was about 3 months old at St. Monica's Church, just because that's the church where I grew up. It felt so good going back there and having her baptized and putting her in the Lord's hands, because I have faith that He is going to take care of her, and she's just going to grow up with the Lord and with me. And I'm with the Lord. This is Nevaeh Marie. She is now 6 months old. She's the happiest baby I have ever seen. I thank God every day that I decided to keep this little one.